In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of having an intelligent, time-tested, proven system of exercise, a yogic form of exercise, or a very similar form of exercise that comes out of that whole paradigm and that whole ideology. Now, when I say yoga, I don't mean, traditional hatha yoga that's just stretching and holding a pose and breathing, and a lot of what we traditionally associate with yoga. By yoga, I mean a system that, for one, is very holistic and treats the whole body and treats all the bodies in one, the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and has a view of the body that is both energetic and subtle and spiritual and etheric, and also very physical, very anatomical, and very grounded in the physical reality. So the benefit of this form of exercise and what makes it so important and so crucial and so essential for really having good health and longevity is that these forms of exercise, for one, help to take our joints through a full range of motion. And to illustrate why this is important and why the exercise you're doing now is probably not helping the situation, just look at it like this. Starting from the first moment of the day, you wake up, you're on your back, maybe you're on your side. Very little, if any, range of motion for your joints. You wake up, you walk, maybe go sit down on the couch. Yet again, you're sitting there, no range of motion, no compression, no twisting, no rotation for any of your joints. So you go get in your car, yet again, sitting, no rotation, no nothing, no movement. Then you go sit at your job, you sit at a desk, you stand, you maybe work, maybe you bend over a little bit. Still, very little, if any, actual usage of your joints. So then you say, oh, well, I don't care about that, I work out. Okay, so maybe you run, maybe you walk, but still your movements are very robotic and your joints are just going forward, back, forward, back. There's still no rotation either inwards or outwards or circular or up and down or any of the different ways of movement that our joints are possible of doing. So basically the synovial fluid isn't being stimulated to produce. The viscosity of the synovial fluid is not ideal. It's not what it could be because the movements aren't training the joint to secrete more synovial fluid so it can be more lubricated, and the ligaments aren't being stimulated to loosen up, the tendons aren't being stimulated to loosen up, the fascia, the connective tissue is just basically turning into leather, turning into very hard taffy that's just basically making us feel more and more constricted. It's putting more and more pressure and constriction and compression on our organs, which is the second reason why these forms of exercise are so beneficial, is because they can get into the connective tissue, they can get into the deeper tissues of the body and actually the organs on the body and start to open that stuff up, start to open up the joints. Because like many of people that I know, that I've talked to, that I've worked with, for a long time I operated under the assumption, under some dogmatic ideology that, oh, well, I eat great, or I have this perfect pinnacle of a diet that's pure and blah, 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 so I don't need to exercise as much because this diet is going to save me or whatever. And many people are out there promoting, eating a certain way or not eating certain things or only eating certain things as some sort of puritanical savior kind of a thing. Like, oh, if you only do this, you'll be saved, you'll be delivered. Much like, a very dogmatic ideological Christian would say, oh, you know what? All you need to do is read the Bible, go to church, give your life to Jesus, and you'll be fine. That's all you need to do. Or, a Hare Krishna kind of person just says, oh, all you need to do is chant. All you need to do is chant to Krishna, and everything else is perfect. And really, that's absurd because we're a complex being living in a complex world. And to say that one tool is going to accomplish everything is absurd and immature. It's just, like I've said before, you want to build a house, you need a whole host of tools and people with different skills to get the job done. Likewise, if you want to create a very well-defined, very fine-tuned life that is operating at a peak performance high level, you need a wide variety of tools to accomplish a wide variety of ends. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm just going to exercise well or eat like crap like a lot of people do, or you can't just say I'm going to eat really well and not exercise like a lot of people do. But ultimately, it's not about a whole huge extreme of one and a diminishment of the other. It's about just having a nice balance of all of these things in an appropriate ratio in a way that's reasonable. Most importantly, the exercise has got to be there. And by exercise, I don't mean you need to go out and beat yourself up and run, because sure, you're maybe working your cardiovascular system, maybe you're getting a runner's high, but your joints aren't being really moved. You're not twisting your body. You're not developing your nervous system throughout your whole body. You're not calming your nervous system. You're not tripping your nervous system more into parasympathetic. You're really just stressing yourself out and burning yourself out. And if you study longevity, if you study longevity techniques and real health techniques, like systems of Qigong and yoga and Tai Chi and those kinds of things, sure, there are more aggressive, more yang movements in there, but there's also the more yin aspects, the more subtle, relaxed forms of movement, because moving the body in those different ways trains the joints in different ways, trains the ligaments in different ways, works the body in completely different ways, and both of which are important. So, the one thing I can recommend to you is find a system of yoga that you like, whether it's a Hatha yoga, even if it's a hot yoga or a yin yoga, or if it's a Qigong or a Tai Chi or Bagua or some form of intelligent system that can help you meditate, help you breathe, and help you move your body, move your joints through the full range of motion, which will ultimately keep you younger and feeling better. And what food you do put into your body, you actually absorb, because it can actually get to where it needs to go, because you're not all calcified and knotted up and full of scar tissue and full of junk because your tissues don't move. So that's just what I've learned and really had drilled into me over these past 6 months of really getting into exercising intelligently. Not exercising 20, 30 hours a week, not exercising 4 hours a day, but just a solid hour, 5, 6, 7 times a week, some form of intelligent exercise that's actually moving the joints, moving the body, working the body in a totally different way. And once you start to do this, your energy will start to just open up and you'll feel so much better. And really, like I said, if you study any longevity book, any longevity system, if you study any person who's lived for a long time in the traditional sense, they're going to have some sort of system, some sort of art, or some form of art, I should say, that they've used to keep their body decalcified, to keep their joints open and loose, and to keep them relaxed and in a more parasympathetic, more receptive, more alpha state kind of a way of being. So, if you have any questions or comments, post them below. And again, most importantly, none of this stuff works unless you practice. So do something today to practice, to put some of this information into play, and I'll talk to you soon.